So Eminem just dropped what I can only call a massive middle finger to cancel culture, and I guess... All right, well, let's talk about it. My name's Isaac. I'm a music producer and a composer. Been doing that for 10 years or so. Professionally for about 4 or 5. I've had records pass well over 1 million streams. But I'm coming into this album review as about the most casual Eminem listener there is. I know some of his hits and his major features. I can sing the first couple lines of the Rap God Fast part, but that's about it. I've never really listened to a full album from him, so I don't really know where he came from musically. And this being the first time I'm listening to an album from Marshall front to back, I guess you could say I was surprised, if not kind of shocked. But I realize it's because my perception of him in the mainstream is very different from who he actually is. I listened to the album on my SVS Prime Wireless Pros. These were sent to me by SVS, and I loved them so much, I reached out to them and asked them if they'd be a long-term partner of the channel. An incredible speaker for the size. Put out every bit of low end that I could have wanted without muddying any of the vocals. These speakers are super quick on their feet, and they were able to keep up with even Slim Shady himself. The SVS Prime Wireless Pros are super versatile. Versatile? How do you say that? Anyway, you can connect them to pretty much anything. TVs, Bluetooth, Apple Play, even like a turntable if you wanted to. I feel like my generation just haven't gotten the opportunity to experience real quality audio with the onslaught of like Bluetooth speakers and wireless earbuds and stuff like that. Everybody's so stuck in like the consumer world. But the SVS Prime Wireless Pros, they take that usability from the wireless products and they bring it into an audiophile package that will literally blow your mind. I'd highly recommend picking up a pair. They combine audiophile quality with the connectivity and ease of use that rivals even most Bluetooth devices. They don't make you sacrifice usability for an incredibly balanced and high quality sound. There's a link in the description, and if you want to go pick up a pair, I'd highly recommend it. Your ears will thank me later. So The Death of Slim Shady is a concept album. It's the 12th studio album by Eminem. And for me, it was kind of hard at first to put together the concept part of this album. I think at first because at its surface, it might just be a just fat diss track aimed at, well, let me look at the list. Christopher Reeves, gay people, liberals, Gen Z, Caitlyn Jenner, the PC police, Candace Owens, people who are overweight, Dr. Dre, Amber Heard, Bill Crosby, Will Smith, trans people, R. Kelly, disabled people, Kanye West, Machine Gun Kelly, blind people, Megan Thee Stallion, Lizzo, deaf people, and his own children. But when you finally move past that initial shock of just Eminem trying to tick everybody off, you start to see a story unfold that's pretty fascinating and kind of sheds the light on the relationship Eminem has with his, I guess, cartoonishly evil alter ego Slim Shady. The album opens with the track Renaissance, and my ears are just blessed by the sound of Slim Shady hacking a massive loogie, which is pretty much just foreshadowing for the rest of the album. That is, it's a dark beat, thunderstorm samples. Again, I mean, nothing crazy. I guess you could say I felt lulled into a place of safety. Because what came next? The track Habits.
Just a kid from Detroit who knew how to destroy the booth and had a point to prove in the missing.
It opens with Slim Shady forcing an unknown gagged individual to swallow something at gunpoint. It's all audio, so you can't see it, and you don't know who it is. But what follows is the absolute insanity that is Slim Shady making fun of retards, midgets, Bruce Jenner, pronouns, and transgenders over one of the sickest beats I've ever heard, with some fantastic vocal rhythms that really only Eminem could come up with. But there's a line that Slim says closer to the end of the track, something along the lines of like, would this rhyme be okay if South Park did it? Which kind of clued me into the fact that Slim is not necessarily Marshall, and that Slim is basically a character that Marshall created. Like how a show writer will write an offensive character for the screen, Slim wrote an over-the-top character for the Eminem universe. Now, I'm sure a lot of you have been closely following Marshall for a long time and probably know this. I did not. So I was just sitting here listening to Eminem saying, and I quote, "I'd drop kick a midget if I ever saw one." Yeah. The third track of the album definitely just cleared things up for me. The Bounding Gad character turns out to be Marshall, and Slim Shady, after forcing Marshall to drink something, announces, I'm trying to get us canceled, to where he just starts rapping the most insanely hilarious, offensive crap that I've ever heard in a song ever. And so after 12 songs of some of the most offensive, career-ending lyrics I've ever heard in music, we get to what I believe is a climax of the album, and that is Guilty Conscience 2.
This ain't no trade now, huh? See what I mean now? You see how they're trying to make me out to be some kind of mean valor?
The song is essentially a rap battle between Marshall and Slim, where Marshall blames Slim for all the controversial stuff he's said over the years, and Slim takes credit for all of Marshall's success. And the one line that kind of encompasses the whole album for me was one of Slim's lines back at Marshall: "You created me to say everything you didn't have the balls to say." The song ends with Marshall wrestling the gun out of Slim's hands, and Marshall essentially committing or shooting Slim, I don't know which one it is, so that either Slim is dead or they're both dead, only to wake up and it all be a dream. Now, usually I'd call the "it's all just a dream" trope to be kind of just a cheap way out, but the track ends in like a maniacal, I don't know, laughter, which says to me, hey, Slim Shady's not actually dead yet. Now, I feel like the album should have just ended there. There are about 6 more songs after that, and there's some good tracks in there, but it kind of feels like Eminem kind of just slapped them at the end just to get a few more singles and features out there. There are a couple heartfelt songs, like To His Kids, but I really feel like the death of Slim Shady as a concept album ended with Guilty Conscience 2. Now, there is a clear overarching message throughout this album, and while most of the lyrical content is definitely like a joke or just being Eminem saying stuff like for the sake of being edgy, I think his hate for cancel culture and the media is probably real. Now, I don't know a whole lot about Marshall and what he's gone through with the media other than a couple headlines and what I've heard in this album, but I do know that cancel culture is one of the most toxic things our generation has had to deal with. This country, the United States, was founded on the freedom to say whatever you want. I mean, I believe with like a few exceptions, like incitement, fraud, threats, and stuff like that. But to have your whole career ended for having an opinion or saying something wrong that doesn't align with a political agenda is disgusting, and people need to mind their own freaking business. The concept of cancellation, because you said mean things, it's a form of social justice taken out by the people who get off on making other people's lives miserable. There is a place for cancellation, sure, but not like this. And while I definitely don't condone just about any of the lyrical content in this album, it's over the top, it's gritty, perverse, honestly, just morally wrong. The death of Slim Shady is a just massive FU to cancel culture in the most just effective way possible. Well produced, the sound design was great. I loved the way the album moved and how Marshall told the story throughout the tracks. Eminem's lyrics were clear without being harsh or overly bright. The low end in the album was fantastic, and the Prime Wireless Pros just ate it up. So, even with some of the extra songs at the end that I didn't really feel fit the album, and I guess the absolute depravity of the lyrical content, the death of Slim Shady made for a fascinating ride and was definitely an experience I won't forget. The death of Slim Shady deserves a spot at S tier. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. If there's anything I missed, or if there's an album or something that I should check out, please throw that down in the comments. And if there's anything that I missed about the album, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Throw that down there as well. Please go check out the Prime Wireless Pros by SVS. They are an incredible speaker. I would not have asked them to sponsor this channel unless they were absolutely incredible. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.